Don't scroll. This isn't just another reminder, this is a message meant for your heart. If you've been hurting lately, if you've been wondering why, listen closely. Pain is not Allah turning away from you. It's Allah calling you closer, asking you to stop running and start listening. Yusuf, Alayhissalom, knew that better than anyone. When he was thrown into the well by his own brothers, it wasn't a curse, it was the beginning of his journey. In the darkness, he found what comfort never could, faith that doesn't depend on ease. Every moment of pain is a lesson disguised as loss. Every tear is a whisper from Allah saying, "There's something I want you to see." Ibn Arabi once said that pain is the most honest language between the soul and its creator. When Allah sends you hardship, it isn't to destroy you, it's to refine you. He removes the distractions so you can finally hear what your heart has been too busy to feel. Pain forces silence, and in that silence, He speaks. The Prophet Yusuf's pain turned into patience, his patience turned into wisdom, and his wisdom turned into peace. That's the same path waiting for you. The moment you stop asking why me, and start asking, what are you trying to teach me, Ya Allah, your pain transforms from punishment to purpose. So tonight, if your heart is heavy, don't hide it, hold it out to the one who gave it to you. Whisper, Ya Allah, I'm listening. Because sometimes the message isn't in the miracle, it's in the struggle. And when Allah sends you pain, it's not because He's far away. It's because He's nearer than ever, calling you to listen with your heart, not your ears, until your silence becomes your prayer and your wounds become your way back home. And when you finally begin to listen, really listen, you'll realize that pain was never against you, it was always guiding you. The ache that once made you restless now starts to teach you patience. The moments you thought were breaking you were actually shaping you into someone stronger, softer, and closer to Allah. Yusuf, Alayhissalom, didn't rise in comfort, he rose through tests, betrayal, and loneliness. Yet every wound carried him closer to wisdom, closer to the peace that only Allah can give. You'll start to see that the pain you're feeling is not random, it's personalized, tailored by the one who knows your heart better than you do. Allah sends pain not to harm you, but to strip away what blocks your heart from hearing Him. The more you resist, the louder it becomes. The more you surrender, the gentler it feels. Ibn Arabi said that when Allah wants to draw a soul near, He wraps it in trials so that it learns to depend on nothing but Him. That's the secret hidden in your suffering. It's an invitation, a sacred conversation between your soul and your Creator. So instead of asking for the pain to end, ask for the understanding within it. Because when you listen, truly listen, you'll hear something beyond the ache, a quiet voice reminding you that Allah never leaves His servants alone in the dark. The pain is just the sound of Him knocking on your heart, saying softly, "Come back to me." And when you finally answer that call, you'll feel something shift deep inside. The storm won't disappear, but you'll no longer fear it. You'll realize that peace doesn't come when the pain ends, it comes when you understand what the pain was for. Yusuf, Alayhissalom, spent years in darkness, first in the well, then in prison, yet through it all, he never stopped trusting Allah. Because he knew that every trial carries a message, I am still here. Allah never abandoned him in the well, and He hasn't abandoned you now. The same one who guided Yusuf through betrayal and injustice is guiding you through heartbreak and confusion. When Allah sends pain, He's not asking you to suffer, He's asking you to awaken. To stop searching for love in people who cannot fill your soul. To stop chasing control in a world that was never yours to command. To stop treating the temporary as if it were eternal. The moment you surrender, truly surrender, the pain begins to speak a different language. It no longer says, "You are weak." It whispers, "You are being refined." Ibn Arabi said, "When Allah tests His servant, He is polishing the mirror of the heart until it can reflect His light. So if you're in pain right now, don't see it as punishment. See it as the polishing. The sharper the ache, the brighter the reflection to come. Your tears are not signs of failure, they are proof that your heart is alive, still capable of feeling, still capable of returning. And when the night is darkest, when your chest feels tight and your eyes heavy, remember, Yusuf's story didn't end in the well. It began there. And so does yours. And just like Yusuf, Alayhissalom, your story is still unfolding in ways you cannot yet see. What feels like delay is divine timing, what feels like silence is protection, and what feels like pain is preparation. Allah doesn't write meaningless chapters. Every hardship carries wisdom that will only reveal itself when you're ready. Sometimes the lesson isn't in escape, it's in endurance. Sometimes the answer isn't in being rescued, it's in being rebuilt. Yusuf's years in prison weren't wasted, they were years of becoming. He entered as a boy who had lost everything and left as a man ready to guide nations. And your pain is doing the same. It's not taking from you, it's shaping you. Ibn Arabi said that the heart of the believer is a furnace where impurities are burned away until only light remains. The heat you feel now isn't cruelty, it's transformation. Allah is softening your heart so that when the time comes, it can hold the blessings written for you. So don't despise your trials. Don't curse your tears. Every ache is a call, every hardship a doorway. If only you could see what's being built within you, you'd thank Allah for every moment that brought you here. The day will come when you'll look back and whisper Alhamdulillah for the pain you once begged to end, because it led you to a peace that comfort never could. And when that day comes, you'll finally understand that the pain you carried was never a burden, it was a bridge. Every sleepless night, every unanswered prayer, every time you fell to your knees and asked why, Ya Allah, was guiding you step by step toward the person you were meant to become. Yusuf, Alayhissalom, didn't understand the wisdom when he was in the well or behind the prison walls, but when he stood as a man of honor and forgiveness before those who once betrayed him, he saw it clearly, every wound had purpose. That same clarity is written for you. Ibn Arabi said, the wound is where the divine breathes. So the next time your heart aches, remember that within that pain lives Allah's mercy. He sends the breaking so that pride can shatter, and love can enter. He sends the waiting so that impatience can fade, and trust can grow. He sends loss so that you may finally look beyond the temporary and find what's eternal. You'll begin to notice how the things you once begged for lose their importance, and how peace starts to come not from what you have, but from who you have. Allah's plan isn't always gentle, but it's always good. And when He sends you pain, it isn't because you've been forgotten, it's because He's too close to let you stay asleep. So wake up to His call. Listen not with your ears, but with your soul. The pain was never meant to punish you, it was sent to awaken the part of you that could finally hear Him say, I am here. I was always here. And when that awakening finally happens, everything inside you begins to change. The same heart that once broke under the weight of pain now bows gently under the weight of peace. You realize that Allah never wanted to hurt you, He wanted to teach you how to feel, how to trust, how to return. Yusuf, Alayhissalom, learned patience through separation, wisdom through silence, and peace through surrender. You are walking that same path, even if you don't see the end yet. Every ache you felt, every door that closed, every person who left was a lesson in disguise. Rely on me. That's what Allah was saying all along. Ibn Arabi said that the lover of Allah sees every hardship as a secret conversation, where pain becomes the language of love. And now, as you look back, you start to hear that conversation clearly. You see how the hardest moments held the deepest mercy. How the loneliness that once crushed you became the place where you finally met your Lord. You no longer beg for the pain to leave, you thank it for coming. Because it brought you to sujud, it stripped away illusion, it taught you how to listen. Now, every breath feels sacred, every prayer feels alive, every tear feels purposeful. And you know, deep in your soul, that when Allah sends you pain, He's not asking for your despair, He's asking for your attention. He's asking you to pause, to feel, to listen, until your heart learns to speak His name again. And when it does, the pain doesn't vanish, it transforms. It becomes light. And that light slowly begins to spread through every corner of your life. You wake each morning with the same challenges, but they no longer crush you. They remind you. Every hardship now feels like a whisper, stay close. Every ache becomes a prayer without words. Yusuf, Alayhissalom, lived through betrayal, injustice, and loneliness, yet when he finally stood in power, his first act was forgiveness. That's what pain taught him, not anger, but mercy. And that's what your pain is teaching you too. You start to see that forgiveness isn't weakness, it's proof that your heart has healed. Ibn Arabi said that the soul becomes pure only when it sees no difference between gain and loss, because both come from the same source. When that truth takes root in you, the world loses its power to hurt you. You stop chasing what runs, stop fearing what changes, stop questioning why. You simply live aware, grateful, awake. Even when life shakes again, you no longer break, you bow. You whisper, Alhamdulillah for the pain that reminded me of you. Because now you know, every test was a letter of love, every tear a sign of care, every delay a protection. Allah never wanted to silence you, He wanted to teach you how to listen. And once you learn that, you never fear the pain again. Because you understand, it was never there to destroy you. It was there to bring you home. And once your heart finally calls that place home, you realize the journey was never about escaping pain but about discovering peace within it. You stop asking for the storm to end and start asking to see the wisdom inside it. You begin to live the way Yusuf, Alayhissalom, lived after everything, grateful, gentle, unshaken. The same well that once held him captive became the memory that made him wise. Your own wounds begin to serve the same purpose, they no longer define you, they refine you. Ibn Arabi wrote that when Allah loves a servant, He writes His lessons in the ink of difficulty so that the soul can read them forever. And you've learned to read. You see meaning in the quiet, beauty in patience, strength in surrender. Every moment of pain that once made you cry now makes you whisper Alhamdulillah. You understand that Allah was never distant, He was drawing you in through the language of longing. The breaking of your heart was not the end, it was the opening. And through that opening, light entered, faith grew, and love returned. Now, when hardship knocks again, you don't run. You smile softly and say, I hear you, my Lord. Because you know that pain is not the voice of punishment, it's the sound of guidance. And every time it speaks, it's Allah reminding you that even in your weakness, you are seen, you are loved, and you are never alone. And that is where your journey ends, not in sorrow, but in serenity. You look back and realize that every ache, every unanswered prayer, every sleepless night was never random. It was all a conversation between your heart and its creator. Yusuf, Alayhissalom, once wept in darkness, thinking he was forgotten, yet that very darkness became the road to his destiny. The same is true for you. The pain you thought would break you was the path that saved you. Ibn Arabi said that the closer a heart draws to Allah, the more gently it is broken, so that through the cracks, His light can enter. And now that light fills you completely. You no longer fear tomorrow, because you've met the one who owns it. You no longer cling to the past, because you understand its purpose. You finally see that pain was never punishment, it was permission. permission to stop running, to start listening, and to find the peace that was always waiting beneath the noise. So when the next trial comes, and you won't beg for it to end. You'll close your eyes, breathe deeply, and whisper, Ya Allah, I hear you. And in that whisper, the world will quiet, your heart will open, and you'll remember what the pain was always trying to teach. He was never far. He was speaking to you all along, through every heartbeat, through every tear, calling you back to him.